Good morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku was, or should I say, welcome back to What If Deku was born as a kaiju. Basically, this is what the title is. So, yeah. So so where we left off, Zumi got accepted to UA through the exams and, yeah. So she basically saves Ochako's life and, yeah. And basically after she got home, she's happy to see her brother, and yeah. So then the next day, yeah, yeah. So the time skip, is after, and so yeah, the time skip after that whole thing to, yeah. So these USJ incident and thing, Zumi ends up was like, is all scared because her friend was about to die. But then a zombie hand comes out of nowhere and grabs Shraki Sin's leg and pulls him down, or tossed him, or like grabs his arm, tossed him back. Thanks, brother. As you're welcome, little sister. As Zumi's like, or as Girl's like, so your brother had a quirk, your brother has a quirk? Yeah. No matter where I go, he has like these henchmen, or not henchmen, these zombie soldiers to protect me from any harm. So then zombie soldiers, all of them were strong. Stronger than a Nomu, basically, like the USJ Nomu one. Here, USJ Nomu, this one. And most of the zombies in it, or zombie soldiers, were bigger than and stronger than the Nomu. And so the zombies end up cutting the Nomu straight in half, like straight down the middle. So yeah. So then, yeah. But then, after it died, because one of the specials of having the powers to control zombie things is that whatever they infect, it comes back to life. So the obedience chip that was in the brain part was destroyed. So then the Nomu who became a zombified Nomu, working with, yeah. So yeah, so it's scary. dream. And yeah. So then so that's all got taken care of before. So then we move on to sports festival. Sozuku tells Zumi that he won't miss his own sister's sports festival. So he used so then he shows up at USJ, or no, not USJ, I meant sports festival. He was cheering his sister on, and yeah, as he were like, man, that guy really cheers on his sister. And his, yeah. So then more times. So then, but they didn't know there was kaiju among them. So so let's time skip. I'm going back and forth to like the kaijus and then the two shocked faces. So Zuko ends up basically he doesn't want his sister to, as Bakugo was about to kill Zumi accidentally, or she got smacked in the mall so hard, as she had like blood dripping from her face, as as Bakugo was like, because he wanted to be more competitive and more hostile, but deep down he still loves Zumi no matter what. So yeah, he didn't mean to like end up throwing her against the wall so hard that even blood dripping down. As the zombie soldiers of Zuko, or Zuko jumps down, runs over, and he says, "You'll be okay," as he wipes the blood off of Zumi's head. And he did had a first aid kit before, so he basically was like, "You're okay." It's just a scab of the back of your head. So then he cleans it off, or cleans the blood off, and yeah. So then he takes her to the recovery girl to see any more damages. But Zumi was out, but Zuko didn't care if she won or not. He still cares about her safety. But at least, as everybody's like, was concerned about him being, himself. As they're like, man, that boy, or that's her brother. Or, man, he sure does take good care of his sister. Yeah. So then yeah. So Zuko ends up, one is waiting. So Zuko tells Recover Girl that I'm her brother, and yeah. So then Zuko ends up, or so he understands how much pain ing it must have hurt, because he doesn't know what pain is until after, like, the whole grandma passed away thing. His grandma, not him. So that's emotional pain, but not physical pain. So yeah. So now Zuko, so now another time skip to the Cambark thing, as the wild cats. I always call them that, but they always, so the students had to climb a mountain. And guess where that mountain is? Where Zuko was sleeping, or is on. So when Zuko, yeah, so they could hear noises from it, but the Zuko's, or Zumi's like, better not go in there because I heard that there's monsters in there. So then he goes in, or no, so they still climbs up into the house part. And funny enough, Koda's parents were still alive. Because in this alternate timeline, Muscular died from one of the other, like, or should I say he wasn't born, because the kaiju, like oldest kaijus that before they went extinct, they killed almost half of the population, and Muscular's parents was that. So yeah. So then So Koda's parents still lived, and they still are pro heroes. So yeah. So then So yeah. So then the Zuko ends up, being Zuko. So yeah. So then they start training, and so Zumi does go to her house, to grandma's house thing, that she did, Zuko did keep it nice and clean and fresh remodeling before, or freshly clean. So when Zuko, who knew so Ochako's like, man, you and the wild pussycats are next door neighbors. Yeah. But and plus, as Momo's like, oh, your grandma hunts bear? No, that's my brother, hers, or hunting thing. See, he hunts bear, fish, and anything that he could put his hands around. But the bear was simply unlucky because, yeah. And that bear got eaten by a monster from the cave. So, yeah. So then Zuko. So Zumi keeps Zuko under wraps because or keeps his secret under wraps. So then Zuko, or so then, so the next night they get ambushed and like Zuko, whom was like, or actually let's say Yellow Cat or Yellow Cat. That's what I call her. I forget her name. I know that My Hero Academia. Wild, and I meant yellow, not red. Yellow. Yeah. So her got captured, and yeah. So then Zuko. Or so then, and so they also kidnapped Zumi. That made Zuko really mad, as he could sense Zumi is scared, as a mountain starts to shake, as everybody, or all the students and teachers, and ran out, as they see the top of the mountain exploded, like got lifted away from his grandma's house. Yeah. So when he came and showed his true like form thing. Here. No, it's when they saw him in that form, like in the tail, his body was bigger than any normal kaiju, basically. He was big, scary, and ferocious. Basically, what I mean is, he turns around, he looks at a monster, or he runs on all fours. And yeah, when Zuko busted out of there, he ran towards the city as he's roaring. As Zumi, he says, "Here he comes. Here's who comes," as Shiraki-san says. "My big brother." And Zuko tears the roof off of a building, off of their building, as he looks down with anger in his eyes, as he growls like roar, as he looks at it, or looks right at them, and Shiraki-sen throws every student, or no, not every student, every villain looked up and saw his angry face, some of them start peeing themselves because they never seen a actual kaiju in in person. As Zuko, who is angry, right? As he looks, as he lifts his arm up and he swats all those villains away, as he grabs Zumi gently, as he puts her on his shoulder, as he takes her home, and he tells her, or actually, she knows that he's gonna tear those villains apart. He doesn't want her to watch because that would scar her for life. Azumi, he knows that, and she says, "Go ahead." And as she was in like her grandma's home thing, and she stayed in her home because she doesn't want to, or yeah, or what I mean is that she's watching it from the news. As she's watching, Zuko is tearing the villains to parts as they're screaming like no, no, yeah. So then Zuko, who is he doesn't want any, because he had electricity going through, and so then all were ones like, the monster, the kaiju that still lives, it still exists, is you. Your name is Zuko Midoriya. It's an honor to meet a monster like you. As Zuko looks at him with anger in his eyes, because he was upset that the villains took Zumi away, and holding her hostage. And he also knew that they also took the parents' urns away. As Zuko looks at him, growling, as he says, "You killed on our parents." As he's about to use a fireball. On All for One's body. Yeah. He was mad. How mad? He was furious. As he tells, or before All for One died, he told Zuko that his parents are still living. And they were captured. And if you don't believe me, you could go into, there's an underwater base full of villains. As he bites, Zuko he let go of the attack, and he blasted All for One out of existence. Yeah. All for One wasn't gonna regenerate ain't that quick. So, yeah, so Zuko walks home in his monster form. And he laid down in front of, or a couple miles, like instead of 150 miles from the cave that he destroyed, it was 100 miles away. So he lays there as Zumi and Zuko, Zumi walks out and tells him that name you can. So everybody thought kaiju's all of the kaiju's went extinct except for him. So yeah. So when Zuko says, "Shall we check to see if he was telling the truth?" as Zumi asks, "Sure." As Zuko had some scuba gear, or no, actually, his grandma had some scuba gear. Like basically, but like her scuba gear could handle like all the way to the Earth's crust. That's how, yeah. That's how much. And hers, so yeah. So Zumi puts it on, and Zuko is gonna go with, and he basically, I'm taking a page from a What If Deku Was Gigantor of Leviathan. So he opens his mouth. His sister goes in, closes it, and he blocks his own like air pipes things as he goes down. As he goes to the water, as he could have. So he finds the base as the suit. It was 1.9 million miles away. So Zuko swims that far as he could see, and he unlocks his jaws because his sister was wearing a spacesuit thing, or like swimsuit thing, or diving suit, and Zuko ends up having, so he does empty every time. So he looks down, and he does have the ability of invisibility. So he can just like go invisible, and he doesn't make any sound. So when he looks, and he sees a little base full of villains that have like machine guns, and as he could see, his parents were in there. As Zuko, or as Zumi looks at him, I'll sneak in and grab them, and you cause a diversion or distraction enough for them. As he knows, as he creates things. So when he So his sister was hiding in the walls. And yeah. Plus, yeah, so she finds them just laying there, not dead, but they've been they haven't ate since, yeah. So, but they were still alive. So then Zuko, who says, or so Zumi says, is telepathically, because she has such a deep bond with her brother, and they have a little like connection with each other's. So when Zumi tells her brother, all right, I'm in position. And so then Zuko goes all crazy and rampages through as airlock destroyed. And everybody, or so Zumi walks in, or no, sneaks in and unlocks the Inko and Asashi's like bar, or no, handcuffs and legs. As, yeah, he basically, or so she tells him, or so Zumi says, or no, Inko says, where did you come from? Or where did you, were you, or why did you come? It was a trap. No? It was, and no one knew it was a trap until, or so actually Zuko did know, but he used his electric water on her before to jam all the frequencies, and then he comes in and attacks. So then Zumi says, my brother can predict. And so then she gets Inko and Asashi out of there. And plus the spacesuit was, or swim, or deep, or diver, her suit was, there was two, but both the villains were aiming guns at them as Zuko bites down as he rips it. As Zumi says, as both of them, or so so Zuko always came up with a backup plan. So when Zuko looks, as he bites down where Inko and Asashi and Zumi were at, as he did use zombie, or his teeth on the outside who blocked the water from getting in. So then he opens it up and he says, are you guys okay? And Zuko swims out, or he used his entire tail to destroy the entire facility. Yeah. And yeah, Zuko, and sorry if I'm going back and forth. So where is that stupid image? I'm trying to find this. So when Zuko came out of the water, he looked like, he kind of looks like that when he came out of the water. But instead of shooting a beam of light, he comes out as he puts his head down, as he opens his mouth, as Inko, Zumi, and Inko, Sashi, and Zumi came out. As they were like, man. As everybody was pointing guns at him because they don't want another kaiju attack. But then when he opens his mouth, as 3 people came out, as he spits out the material thing away from, as he says, as all the pro heroes know that Zuko, or actually, Sashi was a pro hero, and they all trusted him. But then when they heard that, as Zumi says, don't shoot my brother, he's my brother. As, yeah. So they all, told her, that's a kaiju, not he's not your brother. So then Zumi says, no, he is my brother. He's always been there. He's always been my guardian. Yeah. He never allows anyone to harm me. As Zuko basically puts his claws in front of his, not in gonna tear his sister apart. No. As they, so Sashi tells them to stand down and all that stuff. So pro heroes knew that he was like this when he was born. We haven't told you that our son was a kaiju. So then, So Zuko ends up being, Zuko. He's much more relaxed. As kids, and so he was laying down with his ears down. As he was getting played with by a bunch of kids. At least he's not hunt. So yeah. So then they basically, he actually stayed alive so long. So when Inko asked Zumi, how did you know that your brother was a kaiju? It's because of Grandma told me. Dang, Grandma, next time I'll see her, I'll yell at her. As Zumi went from a happy face to sad face as she turns her head. As the Inko knows what that means. What happened? As she could see tears coming down Zumi's face. As Zuko looks at her and tells them grandma died. Natural cause. And when Inko turns and heard what Zuko said about that, but she's more shocked when the kaiju spoke. Oh, as she never heard him speak like that. As Zuko, or as Inko walks closer with Asashi, because you understand us? Yes, mother, and yes, father. I understand all of you. All of you are more important to me than anything in the world. This family. As Zuko was showing kindness to Inko, as when Inko tells Zuko, as she starts tearing up, as she tells him, or actually Asashi says, yeah, that's why you're our son, our favorite son. As every pro hero is like, I get behind that. How about you guys? Yeah. We see you as our own like brother too. So everybody, including the like citizens, agree that they see him as not a giant threat. So he's, yeah. The entire world sees him as not a threat either. So he's the only one that's kind, that lives a long time. So yeah. So, and plus, now I have it script in. There was, because I was going to choose, I had a hard time choosing of who would be a good, like, character for, like, kaiju Zuko thing. Like, there was, first contender was Momo, but then I realized that she would have probably been like, yeah. And followed number 2 was actually Ochako. And the number 3 was actually one person that never forgets. Or there was actually 4. So Ochako, Momo, and Rinko. The Rinko. Her. So then, and that was 3. And then the 4th one is actually from the movie things. I'm saying movies, like in. And then one, it was that girl. I think her name, her last name is Shield. Forget her name, but yeah. How much she? Yeah. So she was number 4. Because in this alternate timeline, she loves to discover like kaijus and become a pro hero, just like her father was. So just for this what if, I'm going to pick her for this what if. So if you guys chose like the voting poll thing, yeah. So when she heard that Zuko, or when she met Zuko, the kaiju one, she was all excited. Like, she was full of excitement. She could not believe that she's talking to a actual living, breathing kaiju that wouldn't tear her from limb to limb. But yeah. So when she ends up visiting with him. So they actually did date each other's things. Yeah, and they did get married. And yeah, they did have 3 kids that are fusions of, or it's a hybrid of a kaijus, basically, like her DNA with a kaiju's, basically. And yeah, and she did have a quirk in this alternate universe thing, so, or in this story. One is called Select. Basically, it's like a church is from a wild cat yellow, but I put search, basically like searching, or its actually full name is Searching Shield. Like, basically it allows her to basically search for any material. She could use any material as a weapon, kind of like, but any material that she selects becomes her shield instead of but it's a spiky shield. She could just throw it across the world. She could use plastic shield and it bounces off, or rubber shield and all that stuff. So, and plus, Zuko was being basically a fatherly figure to him. So now let's see how long this video takes. Perfect. Now, because I have this weird habit of mine. So if you guys want me to do another what if, let me know in the comments below. And have a good night or day, depending on the time zone. And please go check out part 1 before this video starts. Thank you, and have a nice day.